Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy, and I'm back on sooner than expected because I got the latest Marvel Masterworks of the Incredible Hulk in the mail today. I just ordered it Tuesday, and I'm very happy because it was supposed to come maybe Monday or Tuesday, and hoo-ha! So let's get down to it. Okay. X-Acto Blade. My usual disclaimer, be careful with these things. Because if you can't find them after the fact, they have a way of finding you. Look. Okay, I'm really excited about this because it's getting into a territory that made me buy the Incredible Hulk again. There was this long dry spell. I think was between I don't know. It's like after when the Hulk. Around 225 or something like that. It got kind of aimless, and then you had Machine Man and all that, and it just wasn't that interesting. I couldn't, Fred, this long-haired guy, was hanging out the Hulk, and I remember trying to read those in essential form, and the Hulk talks way too much, and it makes you feel dumb after reading it so long. It's like it just wasn't. Also, it was just kind of a lot of times people. In this era, a lot of people thought the old guard comic books, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and the Hulk and others were in a what's it called, like a holding pattern. Like, you got to keep doing this. You got to have your token page of J. Jonah Jameson ranting about something. You got to have something about Aunt May, or you got to have or yet another heart attack. They were just spinning their wheels. And Roger Stern was surprised that. He was surprised that editorial was surprised that he wanted to take over Spider-Man. They're like, what do you want that old title for? Seriously. I read it in an interview. Let me see. And the last few years before Walt Simonson on Thor were just dreadful. I'm sorry. I can't, sorry about the people who were involved, but it was painful to, I nodded out for a while. And, actually, I noped out. That's the right phrase. And there was something else. Besides Spider-Man, well, Bill Mantlo he came on run right before the 250th issue, and he breathed some new life into the book. So, here's the bubble wrap. Wonderfully packaged. Okay. Here we are. Okay, as soon as I can learn how to... There we go. It is 256 to 265. And there. There's a Frank Miller cover, and I like how the children have those huge heads. A lot of people cannot draw children, and because it's different, it's like they keep their proportions right. The first time I really saw somebody who knew how to draw kids was June Brigman, when she did Power Pack, and that was excellent. What's funny too is before John Byrne took over the Hulk years later, Mike Mignola mentioned in an interview where he had done the Hulk a few issues prior that there was a flashback with Bruce Banner as an abused child, and Mignola said his girlfriend at the time, maybe they're still together, drew the children for him because he couldn't get his head around learning how to draw children. And, I thought that was really honest. So we got 2 annuals in here that I think you'll really love, and Contest of Champions, the official first mini-series from Marvel ever. It predated the Wolverine and the Hercules ones. So, okay, let's open this bad boy. So yeah, I used to be slavish about getting the same, keep buying a book just for collective purposes, and then later on, some of those I would donate to the library because I'd be like, am I going to read that again? Did I just buy it out of nostalgia? I have to do this right. Sorry, everybody. Too busy blathering and not focusing on what I should be doing. Okay. Only once I've cut into the sorry it's taking so long. I'm not trying to drag this out. I'm just being extra careful. And hey, if I cut it in half, the dust cover, you could see it live. You know, it'd be like watching a car wreck or something. There we go. It is free. And so like I said, this isn't my favorite cover, but I get it. They want to make it the most universally appreciated one, because some are more story specific. So I love Marvel Masterworks. And this is another Frank Miller cover that I really like. Actually, when you see the whole thing, this is actually my preferred one. Introduced by Stephen Grant. That's pretty cool. I don't remember him writing the Hulk ever, but he's a good writer. He did the first Punisher miniseries. He did this Hawkeye one shot with John Byrne in Avengers 189. Okay, I kind of passed on these because these characters just were kind of dull for me. They had Sabra and a bit. You see classic Hulk, he's aching himself. Classic Sal Buscema, I meant to say. Aching himself. And he's one of those guys I dreamed of. And here's Arabian Night. And, I don't have a problem with an Arabian Night type guy, but it's like, can you make it a little more interesting? I mean, I know Sal did design this, but it's almost like, yeah, no surprises there. Let's see. Now, Sal Buscema, he's somebody I always wanted to ink, because his breakdowns are pretty threadbare. I mean, all the information is there that you need. And, man, I would love to, see how I could translate his stuff. Here we go. This is even a better cover. Soviet Super Soldiers, also by Frank Miller. And, what's his name? Talbot. That guy who's been, let me see, what's his name? I can't believe I forgot all these years. Glenn Talbot. Yeah, he was the one who wanted Betty Ross's affection. I'm like, is there anybody other woman on the premise at where the Gamma base was? Because that's the only one I've seen. It's like, it was just kind of weird. So, and one thing that disappoints me is they bring back this really dumb, not dumb, but pretentious, pompous, and deadly dull. The Presence and the Red Guardian, who she got transformed through this guy in Russia, and I just remember that jumped the shark for me as far as buying the Defenders. Defenders were pretty good, and then when this guy came along, pretty cool Keith Giffen design, but it just was there, So we're seeing Dark Star, formerly of the Champions, and these new characters, Ursa Major, the Bear, and this other guy. I can't remember if they showed anywhere else. They did a one issue of Iron Man drawn by Carmen Infantino. That was pretty cool. But okay, whoop. Let me try to I don't want to spoil anything. Okay. Here we go. The Absorbing Man. Who doesn't love the Absorbing Man? And back then, they followed up on those, on the continuity, Here's the cover I think they should have used. That's a beautiful Frank Miller cover. It's just much more inviting, I guess. I love how Buscema conveyed mass on Hulk. That was always wonderful. Wunderbar. Oh. Next issue is another great one. I think this cover's by Al Milgrom, though, but People Who Live in Glass Houses. It's a really cool story. I mean, the title doesn't say much, but it's, trust me, it's good. Let's see. Whoop. There we go. I feel the earth move under your feet, Hulk. That's referring to the old song. I can't remember her name. So, Carole King. That's who it is. Another by Milgrom, who was the editor, and he could whip out a cover really fast. So this is if you're an X-Men completist, this is part of the continuity. Look at that. Brought back Kirby's Night Flyer. I just love that, because he got destroyed at the end of the last issue of Kirby's run on Cap. And, Bale Manilow and Mark Gruenwald love incorporating Kirby's non-Marvel stories, as far as outside of the Marvel universe, or I call them Kirbyverse, and they like to set these characters up proper. Okay. Blah blah blah, a little too much blah blah blah, but if you're, let's see, well, Bill Mantlo at least is fun to read. Oh, I hate that banner at the top, that ad. It's just so, it just really just hasn't aged well, as I said. And then there's the first appearance of the Rangers, who would show up many years later on Avengers West Coast, some issue within the first year. So you still got, but Bill and Sal, it's the storytellers, they actually worked out stories together. It wasn't just like, oh, here's a 4-page plot. Okay, here's something really special. The very first, to my knowledge, big time outing of Rick Leonardi's art, and that's a great Milgram cover. Milgram was kind of uneven. Sometimes you're like, woof, and then sometimes you're like, yeah, that's kind of neat. So this is a very young Rick Leonardi, who would become a legend over time. Oh, this is an assortment of inkers, that's why. Yeah, and it's some uneven spacing, like there's a lot of dead space, but I know chances are Rick Leonardi knew that Mantlo could be verbose, so he probably allowed for some of that. Come on, get in there. That's pretty cool. Got a little bit of a Wrightson feel to it. And then Captain Universe shows up. And what I like is Ditko created the character, and he seems faithful to the kind of faces and posturing that Ditko does on his characters that are unique. So there's a missile head for Russia, and Captain Universe is trying to. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Actually, the cover gave it away. Yeah, it's Bruce Banner. It's such a great idea, too. So it looks like Milgram's inks there. So this is the next year's annual. And I really enjoyed this one. Like the color hold on the Hulk there. King Size Annual. And it's by Rich Buckler and Joe Sinnott. Back together for the first time in years from their days in the Fantastic Four. So it's really nice. He was still adhering to his Kirby-esque style, like that panel right in the middle there. That's definitely a Kirby swipe. And he did a lot of that, but it was fun to see. Some issues were a little audacious that way, and some issues it blended nicely. But later on, Rich Buckler stuff, it kind of, in the mid-'80s, he was going for more a realistic street-level style, and I thought it was really uninteresting. It was very grid-like. It was very it was supposed to be like a street-level comic, so the comic book basically devolved into, like in Web of Spider-Man, it devolved into a cop show on a cop show budget in a comic book, which is just ridiculous. There's another Kirby piece. There's the leader. Got a little everybody at the time. And there was a Marvel Universe. He's green like the flu. See, what happened is somebody got gamma radiation in the drinking water, and so the Hulk and everybody's trying to stop this outbreak. I'm not going to spoil it there. Doc Samson. There's a bonus pinup, I think, by Frank Miller, or is it? I don't know. No, that's Sal. That's our pal Sal. But it's Frank Miller's first Marvel work. It was they usually did inventory stories at the time, like 5-page stories or half an issue of something, so they could repurpose it later. So this story about Doc Samson, there's no real date on it. It's kind of timeless. Like, he's at this conference, and Eunice the Untouchable decides to break free. How they got on those chains in the first place? How they got those chains on them in the first place? I'll never know. You just kind of go with the story. So, and that's such an odd, it's such an odd, I don't know what it is. It's definitely newbie work. So, I like the Zipperton in the background. I think Steve Mitchell's doing it. Yep. He's got the distinctive style. I'm not going to go on too much about it. This is a reprint title, Marvel Superheroes. Wait, hang on. The Hulk reprint title, Marvel Superheroes, had to split the reprint of The Incredible Hulk 145's 33-page story over 2 issues, so Frank Miller and Klaus Janson drew this new title page for Marvel Superheroes 95. Interesting. Yeah, that's what happened. It was like, God, I mentioned before. Oh, here we go. Contest of Champions. Man, when this came out, you have to understand something. Everybody's used to seeing like all the Marvel heroes together, all the DC heroes together, all these. Back then, this was like, wow. This was probably the first time I could recall that you saw like pretty much the whole, Marvel universe of the time show up in one book. That was, it was very unique. Usually they were all the titles kept to themselves, and they would guest star once in a while, but this was like, wow, how about that? Really nice. Pablo Marcos inks on John Romita Jr. Now, a little bit of backstory. This was not going to happen as a miniseries. It was originally going to be in a Marvel Treasury Edition about the Summer Olympics. They did one of the I could talk. The Winter Olympics, where Hulk and Spider-Man fought against some, like the Bowman and some other people, and it came out. It was supposed to be Winter Olympics, and then since then, Jimmy Carter, he didn't want America to be represented in the Summer Olympics. It was just, I guess, a show of strength or whatever. So there was no Olympics. I think it was in Russia that year, maybe. I'll have to look it up. I apologize if I didn't do my homework on that. So we get the story by Grunwald, Bill Mantlo, and Stephen Grant. So that's where Stephen Grant steps in. Okay. And that's just really neat. I'm not going to spoil too much of it. And what they did was, since it was going to be an Olympic comic book, they introduced all these new characters from other parts of the country. They had the two I'd mentioned before. They had Sabra. They had Arabian Knight, and he first showed up there before he showed up in Hulk. And this guy here, he is from, I can't remember. I'm sorry. Man. I'm having trouble focusing on this. I apologize. 1 and 2 and 3. Shit. Oh well. And then there was this girl named Shamrock. Guess where she was from? Captain Britain. There they are. It's a Hannigan Milgram cover. It's really interesting. It's so odd because the anatomy seems kind of wonky. It looks more like a Milgram cover. Oh, this guy's the collective man from China. He gets like the strength of millions of people. And this was great. I know I sound like a geezer, but everyone has their special spots. But in the early 80s, Marvel was just bulletproof to me, pretty much. I mean, I made some exceptions. Introduction. Oh, this is from Contest of Champions, 1999. And cover by Pepe Moreno. You get the biographies. So I'm really excited about this. This is fun. And the 2 annuals I'm really excited about. I have them already in floppy form, but they're such good stories. They're worth reading again. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I apologize for my occasional problematic focus. I don't think I have the camera the right way. I just got too excited when I opened the box. You can understand that if you're a big old comics fan like me. Have a good day, everybody. Take it easy. I'm not hung up yet.